The LG Procast is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views or opinions expressed by the podcast hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the official position of LG. For the latest and most accurate information about LG products, please consult relevant product manuals and related documentation.
Welcome back to the LG Procast. I'm Phillip Kriegbaum out in sunny, beautiful Phoenix, Arizona for the LG Leadership Conference. And today I'm joined with a couple of our favorites, Paul Husar, who's the Director of Technical Support, and Brent Constant, who's a Senior Director of Technical Solutions with LG. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you guys here today. So, lots to talk about, but we wanted to kind of dive into education, contractor education, just kind of chat a little bit about what LG's doing in that space, what the needs are that you guys are seeing from our contractors, what's the feedback that you're getting from distribution, from those channels, and what we're doing to kind of address that. So, guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us. Well, where to start? So there's a lot going on, and Paul, jump in, as we continue this conversation. But
let's start with the needs that we've seen from the field. What are you hearing back from the field? What are contractors and distribution partners looking for from us first?
Sure. Yeah, I think first and foremost is a broader range of training, right? So today we focus pretty heavily on product introduction type training, do a good bit of installation training, and there's a desire for more service training, deeper service training, I'll say more advanced content. The other thing that I hear a lot is, contractors want to send someone to training once, right, and attend a course that covers everything that they need to know, at least at an intermediate level, to be able to sell, apply, install, start up, and service the equipment, as opposed to having come back multiple times. And so we're working on restructuring our curriculum to meet that request, but also to have appropriate prerequisite content in order to ensure that we're keeping that classroom time to a minimum. Most people don't realize this, but about 70 to 80% of the cost to send a contractor to training is in travel, right? It's hotel cost, it's airline fees, it's mileage, it's meals, et cetera, et cetera. And so the more we can squeeze that time in the classroom down as much as possible, right, and still maintain the quality of the training, the better that is for the contracting company.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I mean, you put yourself in the shoes of a contractor. You're like, you need my guy for how many days?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
We also have a lot of new products coming out. Yeah. So we want to make sure that the unique products are covered properly. And we're putting together a plan to open up training other courses at our associate academies.
All right. So I guess explain the difference between what an associate academy is.
An associate academy is a training center developed by our customers, our reps and distributors, and they'll follow our model of equipment design and execute the construction. They'll take all the qualifying courses to become a trainer. We'll certify them, and then they can offer their own courses in their own facility to their customers.
So they're LG courses just being offered at the distributor's location.
Exactly.
Well, that just takes our footprint and makes it massive.
That's the point.
How many associate academies does LG have right now?
Right now, around 60.
Oh, wow.
Now, that includes applied, distributed, and hybrid.
Sure. I knew we had a bunch. I didn't know the number. And compare that with what do we have, five LG
right
training
now,
academies?
And next year we'll be opening a location in the Chicagoland area.
That's pretty exciting.
It is.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, to your point, talking about travel, that covers a lot of people in our 6 locations, but there's still a whole bunch of people that doesn't hit.
That's right.
So if they can get to an associate academy, that's a
and we'll be focusing on the academy program and expanding that footprint even further. Kind of my goal for now is to try and make an academy set up so that any contractor can reach a training center within a 2-hour drive. Right, that's our goal at this point. And so again, in 2020, the rest of 2024 and 2025, we'll be focusing heavily on expanding that footprint of our academies.
That's a lofty goal. 2-hour drive in a lot of areas is
That's right.
That's exciting.
It is, and that's how important training is to us. We value it greatly. We've seen that investment in training pays off a great deal in profitability, and that's what we like to see is our customers being successful and profitable.
Who profits from training? The contractor, or the distributor, or LG?
Everybody. Everyone does.
That was a softball question.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah, but it's so true. Like, the contractors, and I meet lots of contractors, right? And there's some that just make me want to pull my hair out, and they won't show up to a training class because, it dropped 10 degrees. So they had 2 service calls that they would have had to have pushed back. And I'm just like, good night. What is the phrase, sharpen the saw? Like, you got to stop working to sharpen the saw. But the guy that stops or doesn't start until he's got a sharp saw passes everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can see I pulled my hair out a long time ago.
Yeah, you did.
So that's been a common problem in the HVAC industry for as long as I've been in it, and that's going on 23 years at this point. So, certainly contractors profit due to reduced callbacks, right? If you can install these things correctly the first time, they just don't fail. That's the bottom line of it.
I don't even know the number anymore, but years ago, I heard a number on the average cost of a callback for a company, and it was $200 and some, and that was just to get a truck back to the house, not considering what all they had to do while they were there, but when you factored in lost revenue from other times, plus the cost of the truck and the insurance and the employee. I mean, you want to save money, stop going back on the job sites that aren't going to pay you to come back.
That's right.
That's huge. And then you got the other contractors that are beating me down going, when can I get to training? I want more training. I want to send my guys to more training. I sent all my guys to all your training classes. What's next?
Right.
And
yeah.
That's where I'm excited about some of the stuff that you guys are working on for those guys that are going, what's next? I want more. I want deeper.
Yeah. Good. I mean, that's absolutely right. They want more, they want deeper, but there's also on the other side of that coin, those contractors that are having trouble finding folks to come into the industry and work on this equipment. And so that's where we're going to get into developing what I'm calling our fundamentals series, right? So let's say you bring a new kid straight out of a high school HVAC trade program. No formal education beyond that, no experience. And they need that extra bump in education to help them understand basic electricity and electronics, basic refrigeration, electrical troubleshooting skills, et cetera, right? So we'll be building, a curriculum around that to help these contractors to attract folks into the industry, get them trained up more quickly through their normal apprenticeship programs, but shorten the duration of that program through training. And get them on the street faster and become more confident. And then on the other side of that coin, also add the more advanced training, right? So, you walk into the classroom day one, your hands on the equipment, right? There isn't PowerPoint presentation other than maybe some visual aid up on the screen, but you're on the equipment, taking it apart, troubleshooting a fault that we've put in it.
No more death by PowerPoint?
No more death by PowerPoint.
No, that's really cool. And I love that our training is going to be moving beyond just LG and LG products. Like, we need to support our contractors and our dealers, exactly to your point, because, there is a shortage of young people coming into this trade. And so we need to make it be there to support as much as we can. So right. I love that. I mean, learning about electricity and refrigeration is just fundamentals to get into the industry. It doesn't really matter what brand or what type of product you're putting in.
That's right.
Refrigeration cycle is the same on a chiller and a mini split. You're still dealing with refrigerant that's got to get compressed and expanded.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really as simple as that, but not really.
Sure.
So I love that we're tackling that. When any time frames that you can publicly commit to or allude to, or if you had your crystal ball that you kind of tell us?
Yeah, safe harbor, obviously, right? Got to throw that out there. But our goal would be to begin developing those fundamentals courses probably in late 25 for a 2026 release.
Okay. And you also talked about some other courses for new product. Obviously, that's coming like now.
That's right.
We're recording this in October, but I don't know when this episode will actually air. But probably by the time we're on the air, some of those R32 products are going to be in people's hands.
Yeah, I would think so. Sure, certainly. We have to replace all of the residential light commercial product essentially with R32 by the end of this year, so that we can be ready to sell it and support it next year. And so we're working right now on updating the curriculum, updating our training rooms, working with our distribution and applied rep partners on updating their academy training rooms with the appropriate equipment. And so we expect probably late this year to begin some of that training on the new residential light commercial R32 product. And then, of course, we've got 2025 to work through the same thing on the VRF side. So, that's a very important activity that's going on currently.
So somebody that's been through an existing LG training class for 410A equipment, what does that look like for them on the transition? Is there a class that they're going to have to take day one, or are we going to have some supplemental stuff?
Yeah, good question. That's a good question. So we're hoping in the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. I'm looking at this as kind of a 3-phased approach, right? So in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we hope to be able to release a webinar series and then a supplemental e-learning to that, just talking about the R32 transition itself, right? What is an A2L refrigerant? Why are we making this change? Safe handling, special tools required, et cetera, right? Everybody needs to know that first and foremost to prepare for this transition. Then the next step is to prepare a webinar series to just talk about the differences. To your point, look, this is still not vastly different from the R410 product, right? It's not new, some new thing that SpaceX has built, right? It's the same thing. But we do have to talk about the built-in leak detection, right? And which models have it, which models don't, and how is that leak detection going to react with the refrigerant system, right? Are we going to just stop the outdoor unit, turn on the indoor fan to cycle the air in the space? Are we going to pump down the outdoor unit, right? That's the things that customers want to know right now, the main differences between the product. Then the third phase is as we update our existing curriculum from R410 to R32, we'll start to build in some more, the differences between the control logic, right? The refrigerant circuit, and again, how it interacts with the leak detection sensors. So taking kind of that 3-phased approach, we can kind of ease folks into these differences with the R32 product without having to, wait until everything's perfect with the final curriculum and launch it early next year.
Right. And to your point, it's very, very similar.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, with the kind of the exception of the leak detection system. I mean, so if we've got a system under 4 pounds of refrigerant, we've had episodes where we've addressed some of the R32 things, and I think we're going to have some more episodes coming up where we hit that a little bit more. But, if it's an under 4 pound system, then we don't have any leak mitigation valve requirements. There's not a whole lot of difference in that installation, to my understanding.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. No, the big differences are going to be next year with the VRF product, right? Where you've got, much more refrigerant in the system. Not only do you have to have built-in leak detection, you probably have to have space leak detection. Mm-hmm. You may have to have space ventilation, right? Requirements that are associated with that much refrigerant in the system. So, we're looking forward to that, as far as the things that are going to have to be done. But for right now, we're focused on the immediate residential light commercial requirements.
Right. And obviously our audience is a mix of both residential guys and the commercial guys. And even the commercial guys, they're using small systems, even in these big, large complexes, there's almost always a little mini split here or there, for this office or that office. So, they're using this equipment, we'll call it residential light commercial, the RLC equipment. Even if you're a big VRF guy or a chiller guy, there's a pretty good chance you're going to run into one of these R32 units in the next real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that you guys have some solid plans moving forward. I'm looking forward to actually going through some of those courses and learning some stuff myself. What contractors, what do they need to know? What would you want to share with them about education in general? Paul, what are your thoughts? I know you always have thoughts. You're never one that doesn't have words for something. So if you're chatting with a contractor and maybe speak to the guy that doesn't stop and sharpen his saw, and then speak to the guy that just is knocking your door down to go to the next class, Well, what would you want to say to each one of those guys?
We have some of our basic courses are offered virtually. They can be taken from any academy any LG academy in the country. You do have to go to that geographical site to register, but obviously it's virtual and you can be anywhere you need to. So if you need the basics, you can get those under your belt very quickly and easily. The follow-on courses will need to be in person in a facility, either LG's or an associated academy. We make great efforts to make good content available as widely as possible. And as Brent mentioned, we've got plans to expand that as well to make sure that we can best service our community.
Okay, so I'm a contractor and I want to send my guys to training next month. Where do I start?
Well, right now you would.
And I know that's a loaded question because
Yes.
I partly know the answer, but I want to hear you.
Right now,
what's going on.
You would go to Skooks and register on Skooks and find the class that you want to take and go through the process of registering. Now, we only have Skooks as our current learning management system, which is going to be replaced very soon. So
there's a collective amen
Yes,
celebrated
yes.
by all the contractors that have used it.
But we say it every day.
It's a tough application to navigate, and we know this, right, guys? Like, we know it's a challenge and a struggle, and I've navigated it myself for many years. But so now, what's the good news?
In a matter of weeks, we will be launching our new learning management system. It's called Opinium. It enhances the ease of registration and gives us greater opportunities to analyze the results, to pull information for anyone who has a question, and it ties it to our CRM Salesforce, so that eventually, as contractors call in and speak with our call center team, those technical support specialists will be able to see all the training that individual has, and that'll help us know where to start.
There's a lot of good stuff on the inside that really nobody sees that benefits the contractors. And like I mentioned, this doesn't necessarily air live, and it probably won't air until Pinium's out. So by the time everybody's listening or watching this podcast, they're going to be able to use the new platform, which is going to be much more user friendly. But for the guy who's never used any of it, where do they go to even get to that?
That's a good question.
Is it going to live on our website, the same place?
It will. Yes. It will serve out through the portals.
Yes.
Right. So distributor portal, LG Pro portal. So again, we're really trying to create that one place for a contractor to go to, or a distributor applied rep if you look at the partner side. So if you need documentation, if you need to register for training, if you want to see what the current promotions are, where your leads are, that's what we're trying to create in the portal. And so Opinium will be accessed there.
So if I'm a non-LG contractor watching this and I'm going, hey, I want to jump in on all this stuff.
Great question.
Contact their distributor, LG sales rep?
They'll be able to go to the same portal and create their own account and start learning immediately.
So they can create an account on their own. Do you know the website on that?
Yeah, good question. It's lghvacpro.com.
And what if you don't have an account? Is that where you go to start?
Same site. Go to the same site. You'll have the ability to create your account there, and you can start learning immediately.
Awesome. That's exciting.
I would add that any questions regarded to any of the assets we have can be answered by our distributors or applied reps.
That's really their source of, if I got a question, call my distributor.
Yes, exactly.
It's important that relationship is strong anyway.
Absolutely.
Right? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I've told guys for years and years and years, even outside of working for LG, more important than anything else is a distributor that's going to support you really, really well, which is why it's important for us to find the best distributors that we can, because we can make the best product in the world. But if there's not a strong distribution network there to support them during and after the sale, it's a huge uphill battle.
That's right.
At that point for
everybody. That's the best part of this job is that we are invested in your success.
Right.
So the more successful you are, the more successful we are. Or we could actually turn that around and say that the more successful we are, the more successful we're going to help you.
Well, it's a partnership, right? It's a teamwork. I mean, I don't sell anything, right? And neither really does our distribution channel.
That's right.
It's the contractors out there who are sitting across the table from Mr. and Mrs. Jones. They're the ones that ultimately make our paychecks possible, because without them, the distributor's not buying anything. Without distributors buying, we're not selling.
Yep.
So yeah, it's, and we have some responsibility in that. If we want them to sell our products, we're responsible to support that well. And I think we're making some huge headways in that. And you two are a big piece of that. So I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. Before we wrap up, anything that you guys want to throw out there, little nuggets of wisdom or anything that I didn't prompt us to talk about, anything that you just want to share?
I want to go back real quickly. You asked a question about the LMS. How are we going to get this information into the hands of our customers? You asked about earlier on in the conversation, what kind of training are we developing for our contractors? Well, all of that goes back to, what I'm calling our true north, which is meeting our customers where they want to learn, right? That's our goal for everything. So, the new LMS that we're installing, the courses that we're developing, the addition of the foundations courses that I talked about, that's all to help the contractor sharpen their saw, to your point, and become better prepared to install these pieces of equipment.
Yeah, no, 100%. Back up 2 seconds there. You use the acronym LMS a couple of times, just in case somebody's not familiar. Tell me what LMS stands for, and then put it in simple terms for me.
No, it's our learning management system. So it's the system that we use to serve out our training calendar for instructor-led training events, and also will be the same place that you can go to listen, for example, to these podcasts or to consume e-learning content. One place, one-stop shop for all things training.
So it's everything training.
That's right.
How you sign up, how you see when it's coming, how you actually take the class, how you track what classes you've taken.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So an employer, the contractor who has a bunch of guys can go into the portal and see what courses his employees under him have taken, right?
Exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to manage and see what your guys are proficient in, what they're lacking in, and help them, kind of to your point way earlier, help develop his guys, his employees. Well, this is a tool that the contractor, the owner, the manager can use to see what his guys have taken and keep track of that easier.
Yeah. Now you're starting to get into the let's call it moderate term future, where we want to get the LMS launched, obviously, and get it up and running and make it easy to get into the training that you need. But in the future, what you're describing is prescriptive learning, which we'll have in place, right? So if we know that your role is service technician or installer, I can prescribe the learning to you that you need to be successful in your role.
Oh, cool.
Once you've achieved that level, right? Installer or service technician, whatever the case may be, then I can start to prescribe what you might need to improve your career going forward and grow your career past that level.
So as you're speaking there, you're speaking of like the manager prescribing a learning track for his employees.
Well, LG will prescribe it.
Okay.
Right.
Through LG.
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd like to add that individuals can also see their record, so they'll know what they're qualified for or what they're not, what they still need.
So they say, hey, this is my goal to get here, and it'll generate like an education path for them to follow.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's say that you're an installer, right? You've been an installer for 3 or 4 years, and you say, you know what, I want to start working towards becoming a service technician. There will be a learning plan that you can sign up for that will help you get there from an educational perspective.
That's cool.
The best part of it all is that we've got a lot of, and I'll call them enhancements. You can call them changes, but each one of them will make things easier for everyone. If it doesn't, we're not going to do it.
Good. Well, those contractors that have used our skooks are very excited to hear the word easy.
Yes.
And it is. It's been an issue, and it's one of those that I'm excited that we're addressing. And there's reasons why it took so long for us to get there, but we're there, right? So
That's right.
I'm excited for that. Let's circle all the way back because that's how my brain works, and I jump all over the place. We talked about academies and locations, and Paul, you mentioned that we're launching Chicago. You have a date for us?
Next year.
Okay.
Let's
That's as vague as answer as I'm going to get.
let's call it.
Fair enough.
Let's call it end of Q1, beginning of Q2.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it kind of gets us in that time period. So that's cool. That's coming along. I know our Boston Academy, which launched not too many months ago.
May
That
of
was
this
May?
year. Yep.
Time flies, but that is an incredible place. I've not had the privilege to get up there, but I've seen several pictures of it and some videos, and it's amazing. I was there, but it wasn't built when I was there. I
Yes.
sat in the auditorium room and had some meetings up there. But yeah, it's really impressive. The new lab in our New Jersey building, I was just there not too long ago, is cool. And then obviously we're retrofitting all the other labs, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Boston is kind of our showcase right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the goal will be to let's outdo that one with the new Orange County or the new Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
Facility, right.
So guys that have been to California, so talk about Orange County.
Yeah, so you want to?
We are very excited. We are moving next door. So we have 43.
So really, really far. Huh?
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
We have 4,300 square feet in our current Orange office. The new office will have 8,000 square feet, 2,300 square foot lab. We'll have conference rooms, training room, offices, and open workspace. We've got amenities which include conference centers. So we're very excited about it. We'll have electrification display in the facility as well as everything else.
There's a lot we can do with double the amount of
Yes.
space.
Yes, Chicago.
Of course, it's all new.
Yes,
is nice.
yes, it will be. It will be. Chicago's even more exciting. I think that's going to be our flagship. It's 9,500 square feet. We're going to have an enhanced electrification display. Offices, 3,000 square foot lab.
Cool.
Yes. So we're very excited about everything that we're doing right now.
What's an electrification display?
Well, it will show you the opportunities that LG has to electrify your home, much like this is part
So
of
a
it.
little bit
Let's
of
remind
what
me.
all LG can bring to the table.
Yes, we have some other displays, and it will show what the home of the future or the home of right now it can be.
Yeah.
In order to pursue the electrification goal.
Yeah, and there's such a huge movement for that. I mean,
Yes.
now that I'm part of our builder sales team and I'm working with home builders around the country, there's more and more excitement from the guys that are going, what all LG can I put in here? And I've got a builder that I'm working with right now who's super pumped about it, and he's a great guy, and I'm loving it. And he goes, tell me everything that LG makes. And I'm going through, hey, we've got electric vehicle chargers, and we've got air conditioning and water heaters. And by the way, LG Chemical makes flooring and countertops. And he's like, whoa, and all of that is going, but it's cool. And while that doesn't get into to necessarily the electrification, all the other stuff does, and how it all ties into the same app. And
It's
stuff like that.
really great to see the face of contractors when they see our equipment and they start connecting those dots and they get real excited. That's a great thing to see.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Guys, what else? Anything?
think we've covered most
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. We're out here at our leadership conference, so it's been fun. We've been surrounded by many of the principals and leaders of our distribution channel and our applied network. So it's been fun to see a lot of old faces and meet a whole bunch of new ones. But it was good to see you guys. Brent, hadn't met you prior to this, so excited to have you here. What'd you say? Your whole whopping 9 weeks in at LG.
Yeah, 9 weeks.
We're excited
Glad
to have
to
your
be here.
leadership with us, Paul. Known you forever and ever. Always
Yes.
fun. Had a great time, obviously. But guys, thanks again. Thanks for pulling some time out of your day. And everybody, thanks for tuning in, and hope that you join us for the next episode of the LG Procast.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.